Okay, let's see where my chat is. Ah, oh, there's Debbie Cox King. Debbie was our winner last month for the giveaway. There's Patty. Okay. Well, we've got a new setup here today, and okay, so RA is saying so fun, and she's a newbie and excited. So thank you very much, Ray. All right, let me take that down. Looks like, oh, good. I'm so relieved people are showing up. It's not that I work with fantastic colleagues and software is so much easier than it used to be, but me, the user, might be compromised. But if you're on, that's great. I can see people are starting to come on. We've got Karen from Illinois. Uh, oh, there's Joan from Grand Haven. Hi, Joan. I met Joan last year when I was on the western shoreline of Michigan giving classes at a couple stores and a guild. So delighted to see you. I hope you're not surrounded by too much snow. We've got Constance from snowy and cold Colorado. We've got Carla from Wisconsin. All right, I'm letting people come on so that I know. Let's see. Ray says she can't see anything. Um, Let me see. That is good to know. People who are coming on board right now, I hope you can see me. If you can't see me, I need you to say something in the chat and let me know that you can't see. There's Suzanne. Suzanne, I hope you can see me from New Hampton, New York. Patty says she can see me. So I'm guessing, Ray, you need to change a setting on your program, however you're viewing me, direct through Restream or Facebook or YouTube. Okay. Whew. All right. So all of this makes me a little bit nervous with this new program. But okay, so let me go ahead and just jump right in. And if there are any technical issues, as in user error right here, I'll jump over to SCHMETZneedles Facebook page. But it looks like we're okay right now. Paula can see me. Deborah's here. Carla can see me. We've got Nancy from Florida. We've got Nancy from Newfoundland, Canada. Yay. All right. So, gosh, last month I was in Puyallup, Washington for the Sewing and Stitchery Expo. And I know some of you were there, but many of you couldn't get there. And so one of the fun things that I did was I brought in some of the vendors and designers and instructors that I met up with. Well, I had from Washington State University, I had Ann Sagawa, who's in charge of all the hundreds. I think there's like 800 classes. I mean, there's hundreds of classes that go on over 4 days. Brittany was also there, and the princess, also known as Jerry, who is a clothing and textile advisor, was there also. I had a nice discussion with Sylvain from Bernina, USA. Nick Coman was there from, somebody asked me for websites for some of the talent that was there. And Bernina, that's pretty much a given. Bernina, USA, you can find online. Nick Coman, Coman. Nick is with Dragonfly Creative. Art, A-R-T. Nick is a fiber artist and pattern maker, and his website is dragonflycreative.art. And he recently moved to the south, I think it's southwest Colorado, to the Rocky Mountain area there. So that was wonderful to catch up with Nick. And Joe from French European was there. So lots of information there, and you can certainly go back and see that that episode from March. Okay, so I currently have a sewing challenge, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. So that sets me up with our question for today's session. In order to win today's giveaway, awesome giveaway, and I'll walk through each of the items shortly, you must answer this question. You must answer, what is your current sewing challenge? What is your current sewing challenge? So answer that, and that puts you into the random drawing for today's giveaway. So I am here in the Chicago office, and what do you think of my setup? I have two new banners. They're 3-foot banners. Okay, I see Maria finally got in, and Stephanie says the giveaway is always awesome. I think Stephanie may have won one time. Karen is saying her current challenge is curves. So Suzanne's working with triangles. Okay, so that is your question today that you must answer in order to win the drawing. What is your current sewing challenge? So yes, my backdrop. Well, I'm going to be doing in-person events and some shows this year, and so I needed to update my banner. So I have two new 3-foot circular banners. Many of you have seen the Circle of Needles. And so that is one of the banners. And then we have updated the SCHMETZ web-based app. So I like that little hand jetting out with the fine manicure, I must say, the polished nails, holding a smartphone with the QR code to the app. So if you're really adventurous and you've got your smartphone handy, see if you can bring up the app from that QR code. I have no idea if you can work with it online, but it could be a little test for today. I know when I stand in front of that banner with my smartphone, the app comes right up, but I don't know about through our computer. So give that a try. So next week, I will be in Las Vegas for the Sewing Machine Dealer and Vacuum Dealers wholesale show. I always love that show. It's been at least 3 years since I've been there. So all the big machine companies will be there. And you know what? Let me just say, I am always pleased to see all the different machine companies, even when they have their own brand of sewing machine needles, because guess what? SCHMETZ works with all the different sewing machine brands. So I'll be talking to all the different manufacturers, Janome, Pfaff, Viking, Bernina, Baby Lock, White, Singer, and other machines too. So I'm pretty sure I'll be posting pictures, at least on my personal blog, sewmorestitches.com. All right. Then this Friday, if you're online, if you happen to be on Facebook, or you can go to sewingpartsonline.com, I'm doing a free class for sewingpartsonline.com. I know they're on Facebook, but you might go over to their website and see if you need to pre-register. So I'll be giving my 45-minute class with Sewing Parts Online, and they're a sewing machine dealer in Tennessee, but they have a big audience online too, so you can check that out. That's Friday morning at 11 o'clock Central Time. Then Thursday, April 27th, I'll be with allbrands.com, and I'll be giving a class at 3 o'clock Central Time online. So again, go to allbrands.com, check out their events, and check to see if you need to register or not. My understanding is both classes for Sewing Parts Online and All Brands are free. And then I'm off to New Orleans. So next month, when I do my SCHMETZ Snippet Facebook Live, I'll be somewhere in the New Orleans area. I'll be there for the Original Sewing and Stitchery Expo. I'm giving 2 lectures there, and that's at the Pontchartrain Convention Center. So I would love to see you in person. If you're in the New Orleans area, come on by, take my lecture. You know, I think it's like $10 to take my class. Maybe it's even less, but I would love to see you there. You can go to sewingexpo.com, and they have the full schedule for my classes. So yeah, I'm starting to get out and about. So I'm excited about that. Okay, well, let's look at the newsletter. How many of you got my newsletter? Oh my goodness. And I see lots of people have challenges. That's good. Thank you so much for participating. So here's a printout of my newsletter. And what do you think of my poncho there? Or also known as a wrap. That's based on a Mary Malari pattern. Kind of a mind-twisting pattern. I had a hard time grasping how to cut my scarf. Well, cutting the scarf wasn't such a problem. It was putting it back together. So it was a wrap with a little hole for my head. But I love wearing that wrap. And that's Diane Gloystein. Diane and I were college friends. At the University of Nebraska. And gosh, I think she worked for Salke for almost 15 years. So maybe you've taken some of Diane's classes at different events throughout the country. So I had no idea that Diane was going to be there, but wow, you know what? It was really great. You know, there are some friends that you see and you just catch up automatically as if no time has passed. And so Diane is very colorful. She's very creative, and we always have a lot of laughs. And yeah, we usually we wear interesting glasses. Diane has quite a few more pairs of glasses than I do. And Diane also wears very interesting clothes. So for Mother's Day, we offered the SCHMETZ 10, and I know many of you bought the last 10, so I'm thrilled about that. So thank you. I mentioned that Mary Malari has a new pattern. Mary Malari has a new pattern. It's the half and half apron, and so this will be part of today's giveaway. You know, Mary's patterns are very simple with great instructions. This one here, I think it uses 2 1-yard cuts of fabric. So they go together lickety split, and they're fun because they're reversible. So easy gifts and part of today's giveaway. All right, so let me just move on. I mentioned in the newsletter that we're going to be doing a survey, and we're wrapping up the questions this week. The SCHMETZ survey will come in your email. However you receive the newsletter, that's how you're going to get the survey, and I encourage each of you to participate. It'll take about 10 minutes to do. It's very simple. There's multiple choice where you choose one or multiple answers. There are some open-ended questions like who's a favorite fabric designer, or who's a favorite pattern designer. It doesn't matter if you love to quilt or do fabric, fashion, sewing, upcycling, whatever your passion is. In fact, that's one of the questions, is what kind of sewing you like to do. And I think you can actually choose all of the above. So just trying to learn more about you and how we can better serve you. And one of the questions is, what's your confidence level in your needle selection. And I think that's on a scale of 1 to 5. So think about that. So it'll be fun. And to entice you to do the survey, we're giving away 7 prizes, or 10 prizes. And to win one of the random drawings, you must include your shipping address. We do not share that with anyone. We will not keep that address, but in order to make things easy on our part so that we don't have to exchange back and forth with emails and miss you, and we're asking for you to supply your shipping address. We'll ship by Federal Express or UPS. So 7 of the 10 prizes will be this this bundle of needles. So whether you love to do piecing and quilting or sewing, these are great needles to have. We've got the universal needle, the jeans needle, top stitch, quilting, and micro tack. So again, no matter what kind of sewing you like to do, these are great needles to have in your stash, along with the handy little luggage tag with the color chart and the newly updated SCHMETZ ABC Pocket Guide. So that's 7 of the prizes. What are the other 3 prizes? Well, I hope you're sitting down because 3 of the prizes are going to be the SCHMETZ Holiday 10. Yes, the SCHMETZ 10, and it's fully loaded. So let me open this up here. First of all, it asks, what needle am I? And on the back side, it identifies all the needles right here on the front of your 10. And then we have our specialty needles, all the specialty project-driven packs. So there's 8 different needle packs, the costume, the sewing with knits, the upholstery or home deck, etc., and the super nonstick vinyl pack. And we include the ABC Pocket Guide. And then for our home sewing machines, we also have the Bobbin Saver Square in blue. So this is the newest color that's available. So that's included in your in the giveaway. So the giveaway comes in a special box through your delivery system. So I'm excited that those are really pricey, valuable gifts that you can certainly use or maybe share with some of your friends. All right, so those are the giveaways. But again, to be part of that drawing, you need to complete the survey, and you need to include your shipping address. So we can ship by Federal Express or UPS. I want to give a shout out to everyone that has participated in the SCHMETZ shout out. It's been awesome seeing all of your different projects. Every Wednesday on Facebook and Instagram, you'll see a collage of 3 or 4 different projects that have been submitted over the last few months. I have suspended the SCHMETZ shout out for right now. It took off really super well, and I need to manage my time again. So I'll probably be doing the SCHMETZ shout out again in probably August, September. So think about that. Think about projects as you finish that you want to take some pictures, and then in the newsletter and on Facebook and Instagram, I'll announce the next round of SCHMETZ shout out. So meanwhile, go to Facebook and Instagram and see what people have submitted because they're impressive. All right, so this to date, I've given 14 SCHMETZ virtuals, but I've done 7 in-person classes. So yeah, this year is quite a bit different than last year. And okay, so as mentioned at the beginning of today's program, I asked you to answer what is your current sewing challenge. So that puts you into the drawing for the today's giveaway. So why did I ask that question? Well, because I have my own personal sewing challenge. My challenge is I have two really fantastic, well-made jackets from Talbot's. I've had them for several years. I've never really wore them because, well, they were fantastic looking. At the time, I thought they fit really well, but I've lost some weight. And now I think the shoulders are a little too big. The shoulder seam is over the cap of my shoulder. So yeah, I haven't quite decided how I'm going to correct that. I could correct it with shoulder pads. That'll look good. Or I could take some little pleats right here underneath the collar and kind of hide it underneath the either tucks or darts. So that is one of my challenges. The other challenge I have is I have a pair of beautiful, well-made black knit wide leg pants. And wide leg pants are coming back in style. And I thought, you know what? Let me just update them a little bit. So last night I cut 6 inches off each leg. And I tried it on before I hemmed, and there's about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch difference between between the length of the pants. So I'm wondering what the heck, and maybe those pants were really crooked to begin with. Maybe that's why I never really wore them that much. So my challenge is to put them back on and to even out, so I have even hems on both legs. So two little projects that should have been done lickety split, and now I'm struggling, and now I've kind of lost some of my enthusiasm. But once I get those done, I'll be really excited, and I will tell you about it. All right, so before I show you the giveaway, I also wanted to just walk you through Sew Very Easy. I think many of you in the newsletter saw the Sew Very Easy, and my friend, she's not just a professional friend, but she's a personal friend now too over the years, Laura Koya from Canada. She did a video, a really fantastic, it's about an 8-minute video about some of our items. So if you haven't watched that, I encourage you to do so. There's a couple things that she talked about. She talked about the SCHMETZ ABC Pocket Guide, which we recently updated. And it's recently updated with all the different needle points that are available with our home sewing machine needles. She talked about, we've got the ABC with the eyes of the needle, clues to change the needle, and then we photographed all the different types of needles that are available for your home sewing machine. We tell you what the color coding is, special features, how to use, etc. Then at the back of the ABC Pocket Guide is an alphabetical listing of what needle to use with what fabric. So yeah, it's quite handy. Well, guess what? This is also the foundation to the free SCHMETZ app. So if you just go over to SCHMETZneedles.com, click resources, and you'll be able to download the app, or you can actually print this out for no charge. So lots of information. Paula says that she already uses the Pocket Guide. So, and Debbie says it's a great updated guide. So thank you everyone for sharing that. I can see some of the comments as they come in. So the other thing that she talked about was the SCHMETZ app and how it's free, and you can upload that direct from our website. It has that list of fabrics, alphabetical list of fabrics, so a reference what needle to use with what fabric. And then there's another link in there with fabric, with thread companies, what needle to use with specific types of threads. So some of the major thread players are there. Wonderfil, Aurifil, Coates and Clark, Sulky, etc. Are there links to their needle information? So we try to make it really super easy for you. All right. The other thing that Laura mentioned was And if you've been with me before, you already know about the Grab It My Pad that I updated this last year, and it's a great way to organize your slightly used needles. And Laura actually, this one measures about 6.5 by 6.5 inches, and she found a 7-inch wooden case with a little clasp on the front for like $1 at the dollar store that she mounted on the inside cover of that little box, and she keeps a lot of her sewing supplies in that box. So yay, Laura. If you're not familiar with Laura Koya, go over to soveryeasy.com. She recently put up a website, but she's more known for her YouTube channel. So Very Easy, all one word. And here's the thing. Laura and I are going to be traveling together in August, and I'm flying into Toronto, and she's going to be picking me up, and then we're going to be visiting a few shops and guilds along the way as we make our way to Niagara Falls, Canada, where Laura lives. So I'm looking forward to spending August in Canada with my special friend, Laura. So stay tuned for more information on that. Okay, so let's scoot along. I've covered a lot of information. Oh, yes, the other thing I want to mention is the Fit Nice. The Fit Nice Challenge. So if you know Judy Kessinger, she is the Fit Nice doctor. You can find her at fitnicesystem.com, and she's got an A through Z, an alphabetical challenge. So you have to use her patterns. And, Judy is an expert at fit and creativity and modifying patterns. And wow, if you're looking to learn more about fit and her patterns, that challenge is really terrific. So take part in that. All right. So let's walk through the giveaways today. I think I've reviewed most anything. Again, to win this, you need to answer the question, what is your current sewing challenge? All right. Well, I've got this adorable little pattern from Kate Color and Designs. Kate is in Colorado, and this is a pillow that she has designed. Kate, you see her patterns in magazines and exhibits, etc. And she is a friend also. So Kate Color and Designs, this is her Snuggle Up pillow. From my friend Quilt Tony. Okay, this is a tongue twister. This is Kutholhu. Kutholhu. Yeah, that is a tongue twister for me. So I actually looked this up. This quilt pattern, it could be a wall hanging or a quilt. This is the pattern, but I know that Tony of Quilt Tony also has it available as a quilt. And what is Kutholhu? Pardon my mispronunciation. It is part of the Lovecraftian horror show. It's like a subdivision of Comic Con or comics. And it's cosmic horror, emphasizing the unknowable and incomprehensible. It's more than gore and more than shock. It's about anxiety in our world. So yeah, this is not normally part of my giveaway, but although now that I think about it, Quilt Tony supplied me with a mermaid pattern last month. So this is a new one. This Kutholhu is part octopus dragon with human characteristics. So if you know somebody that's into comics, Lovecraft comics, this would be a fun pattern and a surprise, I'm sure, to give. From our friends over at Shannon Fabric, I've got the Cuddle fabric, nice and super soft. This is a pre-cut. And what needle do you use with Cuddle fabric or Minky? Stretch 9014. That's going to make all the difference in your sewing success. I have the Splash fabric, which is this laminated, eco-friendly fabric. And I think this is the last cut that I have of the Splash fabrics. So I think I've mentioned I've made a multiple, probably like a dozen or so quilt drawstring bags that I've made using the splash fabrics, and they just hold up beautifully. You can wash them and they still repel fabric. And I use a super nonstick. Size 80-12 is what I use for this. I know Tracy, who developed this fabric, uses the super nonstick 90-14. So see what works for you. All right. I mentioned Mary Malari has her half and half pattern, so that's here. I've got from Taylor Seville, I have their cushiony magic pins. So these are easy to grab and they just go right through your fabric beautifully. I have from our friends over at Wonderful, I have 3 spools of thread, a variety of specialty threads, and a pre-filled bobbin. So Wonderful, thank you. From our friends at Bennertex, I've got some 5-inch squares from their, let me see which, this is Shine, Shimmer, and Glow. So this is their little swatch pack. From our friends over at Clover, I have a quick cut thread cutter. More for your handwork, but the blade turns in 12 positions to get a new blade edge. So that's good to know. From our friends at the Fiber and Fabric Media, I've got the travel guide, the 2023 travel guide. So if you're traveling this season, you'll want to make sure that you visit quilt shops and fabric stores and yarn shops along the way. Plus from Quilting Daily, I've got the love of quilting and McCall's Quilting. So lots of giveaways here, lots of goodies here. And of course, I have Smets needles, and the winner is going to get this little industrial box here. And I think there's like 10 or 11 different packs of needles in here. So I have included the knit and stretch for your cuddle fabric. You're going to use size 90-14. I also, for fun, I included the double eye needle. I know there was lots of talk last week about the double eye needle, so I included that. That double eye needle you use for embellishing, and you're going to use 2 spools of thread. It's a universal needle with 2 eyes right on top of each other. So whoever wins this today has to tell us how to use that double eye needle. Okay, so Paul has... Okay, let me see. Are there any questions? Let me just see if there are any questions. Beth says she loves to use the Microtex 90-14 needle. Suzanne says she's using Smets needles in her work. Karen says she loves splash fabric. So does Debbie Young. Paula loves cuddle fabric. Okay, so Patty's asking where to find the survey. So the survey, you'll get an email probably Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. So go ahead and fill that out. I'll probably have notifications up on Facebook and Instagram too. So you, as a reminder to fill that out. So yeah, thanks for asking about that. Karen says the prizes are very nice. Yes, I'd like to win that prize myself. I'm not allowed to win. Constance says, being new to a lot of the names and sites are not familiar to me. Will you post them somewhere? Well, Constance, I'm just curious, like, where do you go online for inspiration? Do you have certain fabric designer or pattern designer? So there's no right or wrong answer. We're just kind of curious what you think, and it'll be different for everybody. So Brenda says her challenge is finding time to sew. I agree. Usually I do my sewing like at 10:30 at night. And that's what I did last night. And, I shouldn't do that, especially when I'm working on black. Brenda's saying she's taking notes. It's very informative. All right. So if you've got any questions, go ahead and put those in the chat. I'm not really see. Whoops. Oh, I thought somebody was asking for a recommendation. Oh, any recommendation for needles with Deco Bob threads with piece Deco Bob? Is that, Karen, is that a superior thread? Deco Bob, or is that a Wonderfill? I'm not sure of which thread company that is. But when you select your needle, you want to make sure that the thread is cradled right here in the groove of the needle. When you're sewing, your thread should not be flip-flopping back and forth. So keep that in mind. My rule of thumb for needle size is I use a benchmark of 80-12, size 80-12 I use with 40 weight thread. Doesn't matter what the brand is. If it's a 40 weight thread, I generally use a size 80-12 needle. Now, if the thread is heavier than a 40 weight, now I know I need to use a larger needle, at least a size 90-14 or move up to a size 100. So again, my benchmark for a 40 weight thread is with an 80-12 needle. Now I know if I'm going to be working with a finer thread to use a smaller needle size like 75, 70, etc. That rule works about 80% of the time. Sometimes, like depending on the thread, I might have to move down to like a size 70-10 just because of the type of fabric. It's like a dance between your thread, your needle, and your fabric and your technique. So sometimes you have to make adjustments, and that includes adjusting your needle. So don't be afraid. Try different needle sizes. And also remember that needles have different eye shapes. So your everyday needle, the universal needle, the eye is 40% the width of the blade. But your embroidery needle has a wider eye, and your top stitch and metallic have, and your your top stitch and your metallic have an elongated eye. So this enlarged eye and the elongated eye means there's less stress on your thread as it's passing through the eye of the needle. So if you're working with a heavier weight thread, I know a lot of people like to use the top stitch needle, but you've got options: top stitch, metallic, embroidery, etc. Yeah, haven't sent the survey yet, but you'll want to check your spam folder too. So thank you, Paula, for mentioning that. Barbara's saying that she'd like to try the double eye needle. Yeah. So again, when you use the double eye needle, it's a universal needle with two eyes, one right on top of each other. So you're going to use two spools of thread. And the two tips to using this needle is that your two spools of thread need to unwind in opposite directions. So if one thread unwinds from the top of the spool, the other spool of thread needs to unwind from the bottom. That way they're going to play nicely when they go through the tension disc. The other tip for using the double eye needle is to reduce your sewing speed because that's a lot of action. Two eyes through that little tip of your needle is a lot of work on your needle, your thread, and your fabric. So you need to reduce your sewing speed. And I would start with just a simple stitch first. Okay, Ingrid is asking, how do you sign up for the newsletter? Well, if you go over to SCHMETZneedles.com, SCHMETZneedles, all one word, .com. After about 20 seconds, there'll be one of those irritating pop-up messages that says, sign up for the monthly newsletter. So you can do it that way, or across the top menu to the far right-hand side, it says resources. And then I think it's learn more additional information, and somewhere in there is sign up for the newsletter. And you can see the archive of past newsletters also. Oh, Robin. Oh my goodness, Robin. Robin says that she's a sewing newbie and she put a SCHMETZ needle right through her finger. Oh, it didn't break, it didn't split, it didn't bend. Did you go in to the doctor? I hope you went to the doctor. Yeah, yes, the needle is a tool, and you do need to be careful with that and make sure you clean your wound right away. So yeah, be careful where your fingers are. Robin, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope you changed your needle after that. Okay, so I belong to Facebook groups and Handy Quilter and Art Quilter, and okay, and Constance does thread painting too, and she only uses SCHMETZ needles. So thank you, Constance, appreciate that. Trudy says she loves the giant needle, and you know what? So do I. And I will tell you, you can buy this. It's $100 on our website. So, but you know what? This needle you never have to change. This needle you're going to keep quite handy and use it as a trophy. So you can go over to SCHMETZneedles.com. I think there's a section called promo, and you can find that there. Esther's asking if you can use regular needles on your embroidery machine. Yes, you can. I'm assuming you're using just a regular home embroidery machine, and you can use a regular universal needle on your home sewing machine, on your home embroidery machine. But I suggest that you do a stitch out first, because you probably want to use an embroidery, a super nonstick, or a top stitch needle, because those needles have larger eyes, so there's less friction on the thread as it's passing through the eye of the needle. So Esther, if you're going to try different needle types on your embroidery machine, I would suggest that you do some stitch outs just to make sure everything is working properly. Diane is asking, what needle is recommended when sewing silk? My son was in the Navy. He brought back, silk from India. Fantastic. Well, Diane, you've got two choices. You can download the free app. You can just go to SCHMETZneedles.com, scroll down where it says, you'll see a picture, what needle am I? And then click here, and there's an app there. You can download that app. You'll see this picture right here. Or you can, on the website, you can go to resources on the upper right-hand side, and then you'll see download the free app. So if you've got your hands on the little SCHMETZ ABC Pocket Guide, you can also look up silk. And here in the ABC Pocket Guide, it says if it's a silk jersey, you want to use a stretch size 75/11. If it's just a regular woven silk, to use a microtex needle from a size 60/8 to a 90/14. So again, that's right here in the little alphabetical reference of the SCHMETZ ABC Pocket Guide, and you can print that out too from your machine. Okay, somebody else asked earlier about Deco Bob, and Paula says that she uses a microtex top stitch. Microtex or top stitch is what I'm going to say. Carla says she needs to go buy some double-eye needles. Yeah, it takes a little bit of tenacity to buy that, to use that needle, and also to find that needle. I suggest that you go to your local sewing machine dealer or quilt shop and say, hey, I took Rhonda's SCHMETZ Snippet class. I'd like to, can you special order the double eye needle? And most local stores will do that for you. If they won't, well, then go over to SCHMETZneedles.com and you can order it direct online. There is a minimum order there in order to get free shipping, but you can do that. Okay, so I have that it is 12:45 right now. So I'm going to go ahead. Paul just pulled the winner here. So let me see who this is. This is Victoria Strandberg. Victoria Strandberg, you are today's winner. To win today, you must send an email to info@SCHMETZneedles.com with your address so we can send out your prize. So, Victoria, you have won a lot of goodies here today that you can keep all for yourself, or you can share them with your friends. So, Victoria Strandberg. You need to send an email to info@SCHMETZneedles.com with your shipping address. And I'm so excited. And it includes that double eye needle along with about 10 different other packs of needles. So wow, you can find out what your favorite needle is. Okay, so let me just see if there are any other questions. Oh yeah, Paula says she'd love to have the giant needle in her sewing room. Yes, I have one in my room, and yes, I keep one right here in the office too. And when I travel with it, it's always in my checked luggage. Maria uses embroidery needles. Oh, there's Marge from Montana. Oh, Marge gave her Serger Club ladies the Smets ABC Pocket Guide, and they loved it. So I saw Marge at the Sewing and Stitchery Expo in Puyallup, Washington, and we had some pictures taken and had some fun chats. And so I'm glad those ABCs worked out for you. So Judy's asking, what's the best needle for sergers so that we don't need to keep changing them depending on your fabric? So Judy, what you need to know about your serger is, first of all, you need to know what needle system is recommended by your manufacturer. To find that, open up the front cover of your serger. Oftentimes you'll find an imprint or a sticky label that says use needle system 130-705H, which is a regular home sewing machine needle, or some of the machines will say use needle system ELX 705 or ELX 705CF. ELX 705 is a specific needle system designed for sergers and overlock machines. Although not all sergers need that, but some require that specific needle system. So you're going to have to do some homework, Judy, to find out what needle system your serger requires. If there's no imprint or clue on your machine, go online, Google your specific make and model of serger. Look at the owner's manual. You won't have to pay for that information, although you could, but I wouldn't. You can find free owner's manuals online, and normally you have to really search for what needle system your specific serger uses. So ELX 705 is a popular needle system used by sergers. It has not just one groove right here on the front of the needle, but it actually has a second groove on the back of the needle. And that is for some of the specialty stitches that requires that second groove. So keep that. Okay. All right. Well, okay. I want to thank everyone for being here today. I'm just delighted that this setup worked. I will try to make this even easier next time with our link. I want to say thank you for reading the newsletter and showing up here today. I know we've all got choices. You know, we could be eating lunch if you're in Central Time, or maybe breakfast, and if you're in a different time zone, or maybe you're having a midnight snack if you're somewhere else in the world. But thank you for being here, and I will see you next month somewhere in New Orleans. So stay tuned and be on the lookout for that survey. Okay, everybody, thanks for being here. So Smets.